Hey guys, it's Jeff here. I haven't recorded in some time, but very much felt guided to do so today. So just wanted to check in. I hope this finds you well. And yeah, so I felt guided to share a little bit about my experience today. And specifically, I don't know if you're a fan of, but Abraham Hicks specifically. So I've been listening to Abraham now for almost 4 years, and I'm a huge fan. And ever since I initially saw Abraham, I wanted to see her, Esther, in real life, in a live show. So I swore I would always do that. Um, so on Valentine's Day, I was sitting around and I had inspired action to go online and see if she had any shows going on, and just by coincidence, by coordinated incidents, she had a show local to me today, a week later. So I attended that show, and again, I felt very inspired to go to that. It felt like it was very much in alignment. And prior to the show, I was getting synchronicities, which Esther herself is very much into. 111, 222, 444, the whole thing. So I always trust my guidance and very much tune into it, and very much enjoy getting those confirmations when they do come. And I went by myself and I got to the event, and it was really well done. Esther, as usual, does a really good job. And as you know, it's very much dependent on the participants, like being in the hot seat and sitting on stage with Esther. So I had prepared, you know, a question if given the opportunity, but I didn't get that opportunity, which was completely fine. I'm happy for anybody who gets up there, and I think the expectation is that hopefully your question is answered in one way or another through other people's questions. Um, but that wasn't necessarily the case with me. Not with the particular question that I had on hand. Although the event and my experience at the event actually did technically answer my question. Um, I've shared a little bit about myself, but I consider myself to be a healer, and I know that I'm supposed to share my voice, and I do believe. I do believe that. I do trust my guidance, and I really haven't felt very compelled to share very much online for a myriad of reasons, but today made it really apparent to me why I'm being called to share my voice and my story. And so my story, I'm not going to tell my entire story, but I didn't have any faith. I didn't believe in God prior to the age of 42. I'm 46 now. And it wasn't until I started praying for a change in my life um, that I had a belief. So God showed up in a really powerful way, and it was unmistakably God in my life in particular. Um, so I found my faith first, and then I started hearing some of Abraham's teachings and about alignment and removing any resistance from your vibration in order to manifest and all of that, which I do believe her teachings to be true. Absolutely. Um, but from my perspective, I was able to secure my faith first. And with that, one of the messages I got very early on was that I had everything within me that I need, which at the time was really frustrating, and I really didn't understand what that meant. But I now understand it to be, we're all made in the likeness of God, and I do believe that we all have God within us, within our hearts. And um, I put a lot of effort into healing some of my underlying um, struggles, and um, those struggles over many years, trauma, if you will, really formed my core beliefs, and they affected the way I thought about myself, the way I interacted with people, and that in and of itself really affected my vibration in such a way where I wasn't able to focus and remove resistance from my vibration, right? Because I was still experiencing my trauma. I had unresolved trauma. So over the past couple of years, I've really taken a look at what that trauma's caused in me. And one of the core beliefs that it's caused in me specifically is that I don't really belong anywhere. And it, again, that's many traumatic experiences kind of summed up into one core belief that I don't belong. And it's just continued to affect me throughout my life, and kind of fueled my addictions and a lot of other things. But I tell you this because I'm really grateful that I, through my faith and through my relationship with the Lord, and I've been able to not only identify that, but turn that over to Him and ask Him for guidance in terms of how to heal that. And as a consequence of having cleaned up that core belief and really worked on my healing and doing some talk therapy and a bunch of other things, I've now been able to adopt Abraham's teachings in such a way where I do find myself in alignment quite a bit. But the reason why I even talk about any of this is because my experience today at the show, what I observed in the participants in this particular show, and I can't speak to all the different shows, but I had only experienced Abraham Hicks in short clips on YouTube. And of course, those are going to be some of the meatier ones, and some of the better flowing participants that you get a chance to hear. So, when you watch clips on YouTube, you're kind of hearing the best of the best. So you don't necessarily experience a show from beginning to end. Maybe you have, I don't know. I know that they do have full-length ones as well. But in any case, in this particular show, what was demonstrated with just about, all the participants, with exception of the first, is that they had some serious unresolved trauma that actually prevented them from even technically participating in the show itself. And all Abraham was really able to do on the show, is to identify for them that they do have underlying trauma that they need to tend to in order to even entertain the idea of coming into alignment. Like, that was pretty much what I got out of the show. So I left the show initially a little bit disappointed because it wasn't what I was hoping or expecting it to be. So I actually left the show just a few minutes early, mostly just to miss the crowd in the parking lot, and I knew I wasn't missing anything at that point. And I wasn't necessarily discouraged, it just wasn't what I was hoping for. But that's okay. And when I got back into the car, I was still noticing synchronicities. And again, I really, really trust my guidance, and I didn't feel any kind of way about the show. It left me wondering why I was guided to go to it in the first place. And the guidance, the synchronicities continued, but, I had a car ride home to really ponder it and to think about why I would have been guided to go to the show. And really, I think it was to see exactly what I saw. And what I saw was just proof of what I know in my heart, is that my faith is what truly saved me. And by going within and looking within and being willing to go through the healing process in depth has really allowed me at this point to effectively adopt the teachings of Abraham, right? And Abraham does talk about God and Jesus and us being source and being from pure positive energy, but there really isn't much mention about faith per se. It does come up in some of the segments, but again, that's when she's flowing with somebody who might be of faith. So it's a little bit different of a conversation. It's not necessarily a topic that she regularly carries and supports and pushes, right? Because she's not necessarily one from a background of faith specifically. She's kind of a clean slate from that perspective, which I think is totally fine, right? Because we all have different backgrounds and we all have different upbringings, and as a result, different traumas, different experiences, and, different needs. So I just wanted to come on here and just share that experience with you guys, and not necessarily even push faith, but to maybe just talk a little bit about Abraham's approach versus a faith-based approach. And I know I'm not alone in that. What it really truly felt like in that room was that there was a lot of people in that room that were searching for something greater than themselves. And where they had landed, obviously, was on Abraham's teachings. I can't speak for everybody in the room, but I could feel it. A lot of them were without faith. And again, that's okay. I'm not judging them in any kind of way, but I could tell that they were seeking more. And they weren't necessarily getting what it was that they were in search of through Abraham's teachings. Now, I'm not saying that you can't come into an alignment, or as even Abraham put it, alignment is enlightenment. I'm not suggesting that you can't come into alignment without faith. But I would say that from a long-term perspective, I believe it to be quite difficult to maintain alignment for any given period of time if you haven't resolved your underlying trauma. And I know that resolving trauma to that degree that has actually formed your core beliefs about yourself is something that we all need to take on. And for me personally, I did do talk therapy, but it was truly my higher power that helped me identify what core beliefs had been built about me, built up over time, that I had adopted of myself. And the reason why I say it was God that helped me identify that is as I moved through the healing process, it was really clear to me that I was viewing myself in such a way that Source does not view me, right? My Creator views me as his perfect child, and I refer to Source as my father, so that's the reference. But I was out of alignment with the way Source saw me. So regardless of what I was doing to calm my thoughts, or to even out my vibration through meditation and all those things, still at the end of the day, all my interactions and all of my thoughts were filtering through that core belief that I didn't belong anywhere. And Source just plainly and blatantly does not agree with that. So, again, I found my faith 4 years ago, and around the same time found Abraham. And so I've kind of been moving through and growing in my faith, as well as moving and growing in Abraham's teachings. And for me, that has been a mighty effective way of coming into alignment and or enlightenment. And I don't sit before you saying that I'm perfect in any way. I'm just saying that over time and through daily practices, I have really narrowed, I've set my course with my faith. That's how I would put it. I've set my course with my faith, meaning I have pointed my boat in a direction that I want to go in, and it's towards all of my goals and my aspirations. And I have more than one, and maybe I'll share those with you for another shorter video. But my faith sets my course, and then Abraham's teachings help me control the rudder. So it only sways back and forth so much. And between my faith and the realization that the law of attraction is a real and very powerful thing, life has gotten a lot easier for me. And I guess that's really all I wanted to share. And I think more of my messages will be based around a combination of those two ideas, those two areas of faith and healing versus alignment and vibration work, and what that's done in my life. One of the things that I've noticed as of more recently is, as a healer and as I have conversations with people, what ends up happening is I will get messages for these people, and they're very brief and succinct ways and messages for that they are meant for these people, but they are general enough to share with an audience that goes way beyond this one person that I might have received the message on behalf of. So, if and whenever possible, I will be sharing those on here as well. So, that's it. I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. I wanted to share a little bit about my day. Again, this is an impromptu recording. I was guided to do it earlier, and I went home, and then I got a call to pick up a friend kind of last minute. So I'm back out in the car, which is where I have the opportunity to record. So I took the opportunity because I felt like it was the thing to do. So if nobody's told you that they love you today, I love you, and I mean that. I genuinely do. And I hope you'll come back for more messages. I think it's important to speak from the heart and authentically, and to offer up whatever it is that you have to offer. So I encourage you to do the same each and every day. And if you're having a rough day, just remember that you're surrounded by blessings, and center yourself around that. And it's easy to overlook the blessings that we have. We kind of get conditioned to our surroundings, and even just to have food and shelter. If you have a car, you're certainly blessed. If you have a job, you're certainly blessed. If you have a family that you love, you're certainly blessed. So count your blessings. And with that, I'll say goodnight, guys. Take care.